Do you feel like your brain is turning to mush? Does it seem like every trend you see online just adds to the chaos in your head? I get it. I love the internet, but wow, has it changed us? Social media is supposed to connect us, but it often leaves us feeling more lost. Trends like the burnt toast theory or Delulu thinking make me scratch my head. It's like we've mixed real life with TikTok and ended up with brain rot. Remember when some things were just for the internet? Now, it feels like every thought has to be shareable. I catch myself saying things like, "I'm doing a hot girl walk," or "he gives golden retriever boyfriend energy." Seriously? What even is that? I felt the impact on my mental health. More screen time means more stress. But guess what? I found ways to break free from this cycle. It's time to reclaim our brains and focus on what really matters. As the saying goes, sometimes you have to disconnect to reconnect. Let's see what brain rot actually is and how we can beat this brain rot together. Have you ever felt like your brain is just not working right? That's what we call brain rot. It's a term that captures the impact of being constantly online. We laugh about it, but it's a real issue. When we spend hours glued to screens, we feed our minds a lot of junk. It's like our brains are slowly deteriorating from all that mindless scrolling and binge watching. So what causes brain? Have you ever felt like your brain is just not working right? That's what we call brain rot. It's a term that captures the impact of being constantly online. We laugh about it, but it's a real issue. When we spend hours glued to screens, we feed our minds a lot of junk. It's like our brains are slowly deteriorating from all that mindless scrolling and binge watching. So what causes brain rot? The main culprit is excessive technology use. Whether it's scrolling through social media, binge watching videos on YouTube, or jumping between different browser tabs, we're overstimulating our brains. I found myself doing it too, surfing the internet while texting and checking emails all at once. It's no wonder our brains feel overloaded. You see, scrolling through social media can trigger a rush of dopamine, the feel-good chemical in our brains. It gives us a sense of satisfaction and pleasure. The more we scroll, the more we want to keep scrolling. Even when we know it's not good for us, it feels rewarding. This can lead to a kind of behavioral addiction. We might not even realize it's happening until we start noticing the effects on our mental health. Now let's clear up something important. Brain rot isn't the same as cognitive decline. Cognitive decline happens naturally as we age or due to medical conditions like Alzheimer's or dementia. Those conditions require medical attention and can't simply be reversed by changing habits. On the other hand, brain rot is all about our behavior and lifestyle choices. The good news? It can be reversed if we put in the effort. But some people might cling to their online habits as a way to self-soothe. That makes change difficult. You might wonder what brain rot behavior looks like. It can show up in different ways. For example, video gaming can be a fun escape, but some people end up playing compulsively. They get so lost in those alternate worlds and storylines that it becomes hard to focus on real-life responsibilities. I've seen friends get caught up in gaming for hours, ignoring everything else. Then there's zombie scrolling. This is when you mindlessly scroll through your phone without any real purpose. You just find yourself flicking through feeds, hardly even registering what you're looking at. It's a bit scary when you realize how much time you've wasted without gaining anything from it. Another big issue is doom scrolling. This is when you obsessively look for distressing news, even though it makes you anxious. I've been there too, scrolling through negative headlines, feeling more and more overwhelmed. It's like a cycle that feeds on itself. You want to be informed, but it often leads to stress instead. Well, social media addiction is another form of brain rot. This is when you feel a strong urge to check your social media accounts, even when you know you should take a break. You might feel restless or anxious when you can't access your phone. The constant notifications and bright colors can make it hard to think clearly. According to science, one of the main signs of brain rot is when online time starts interfering with your daily life. If you find yourself unable to sleep because you can't stop scrolling, or if you prioritize social media over real-life relationships, it's time to take a step back. Eye strain, headaches, and poor posture from excessive phone use are all signs that you might be spending too much time online. I've had my moments of brain rot too. It's easy to fall into the trap, but the good news is that we can take steps to reduce it. But before that, let's get this clear. How does brain rot affect emotional well-being? We often think that spending time on our phones or computers is harmless, but over time, brain rot behavior can really hurt our mental and emotional health. One big issue is doom scrolling. This is when we get stuck reading negative news, and it impacts how our brains work. Humans naturally remember negative information better than positive, so when we see distressing news, we end up searching for even more. It's a cycle that keeps us feeling anxious. Doom scrolling can numb us to negative experiences, making it harder to feel joy or satisfaction from other parts of life. Research has shown that it can lead to higher levels of psychological distress and lower overall mental well-being. It's no surprise that those who consume a lot of negative news also tend to experience poorer mental and physical health. Let's talk about how brain rot affects our thinking. Studies show that the internet can change how we think and remember things. Excessive scrolling might alter our brain's gray matter, which is vital for processing information. When we constantly overstimulate our brains, it disrupts our ability to focus and remember. I've noticed this myself. Sometimes I struggle to keep track of simple tasks after a long day of scrolling. Now let me tell you what scientific research says. One study looked at young adults aged 18 to 27 and found a strong link between social media addiction and poor executive functioning skills. This includes important abilities like planning, organization, and decision-making. When we spend so much time online, we may lose touch with these crucial skills. It's frustrating when our brains feel foggy and we can't think clearly. Brain rot also impacts how we see ourselves. Social media has created a whole new world of connections, but with it comes the constant comparison trap. How many likes or followers we have is visible to everyone. It's easy to feel inadequate when we see others flaunting their success, perfect vacations, or ideal relationships. Many of these images are edited and filtered, yet they can still make us doubt ourselves. This constant bombardment of curated posts can lead to negative self-talk. I found myself feeling low after scrolling through my feed, wondering why my life doesn't look as exciting as someone else's. Our brains get cluttered with all this information, making it hard to separate reality from fiction. Over time, our self-worth can take a hit, leading to increased stress, anxiety, and even depression. So, what can we do about this? Well, preventing brain rot is all about being intentional with your media consumption. We all know how easy it is to get lost in a scroll, but when we take control of our screen time, our mental health and emotional well-being can improve significantly. First, it's essential to be aware of our online habits. Try to limit your time spent doom scrolling or consuming negative news. Instead, focus on positive content that uplifts you. Follow accounts that inspire you rather than bring you down. Now let's talk about screen time. Start by tracking how much time you spend on your devices. You might be surprised at how many hours vanish into browsing, social media, or gaming. I remember the first time I checked my screen time. I was shocked. It's a wake-up call that can help you set boundaries. Decide how many hours you want to spend on screens each day. Maybe aim for a specific number. To make this easier, consider deleting distracting apps or turning off notifications for news and social media. Trust me, your mental space will thank you. And try to avoid consuming content right before bed. It's hard to sleep when your brain is buzzing from all the screen time. As you start limiting your screen usage, pay attention to how you feel. You might notice a difference in your mood. Next, let's talk about curating your feeds. The content you consume plays a huge role in your mindset. Protect your headspace by being mindful of what you watch and read. Don't fall into the trap of sensationalist news or negativity. Diversify your sources to maintain a balanced perspective. If you follow accounts that make you feel anxious or angry, it's time to hit that unfollow button. Instead, fill your feeds with positive and inspiring content that lifts you up. There's a whole world beyond your screen waiting for you. Reconnect with it by diving into hobbies and activities you love. I find joy in going for hikes, playing my guitar, or even just listening to music. Try journaling your thoughts, volunteering, or working out. Set aside time each day for activities that make you happy and relaxed. Social connections are essential too. Instead of reaching for your phone to chat, consider spending time with friends and family in real life. Building authentic relationships can lower stress and boost your sense of belonging. A survey found that young adults experience fewer depressive symptoms when they have strong offline support. So prioritize those in-person connections. If you're worried about your brain becoming mushy, challenge it. Just like muscles need exercise, so does your mind. Instead of scrolling, learn something new. A foreign language, a new skill, or delve into a fascinating book. Sharpen your mind with puzzles or engage in meaningful discussions. The goal is to keep your brain active and engage. Resist the comfort of mindless scrolling and retrain your brain. A digital detox can also work wonders. While limiting your screen time is great, completely unplugging offers your mind a much-needed break. It allows you to reflect on your thoughts and habits. I once took a week off social media, and the boost in my mental well-being was incredible. You don't have to go cold turkey right away. Start with short breaks, maybe 15 minutes at a time. Gradually extend those breaks or plan outings with friends where phones stay off. Work up to a full day without your devices. You'll be surprised at how refreshing it can be. If you feel that your brain rot has become more serious, don't hesitate to seek support. It's easy to isolate behind a screen, but reaching out is crucial. Whether it's a friend, family member, or a therapist, talking about your feelings can help you develop healthier habits. A professional can assist you in managing triggers and setting realistic goals for improvement. Remember, you're not alone in this. Many of us struggle with the overwhelming nature of digital life. By being intentional about your screen time, curating your feeds, and engaging in real-life connections, you can combat brain rot. It's all about taking small steps towards a healthier relationship with technology. Let's strive for balance. Our minds are precious, and we owe it to ourselves to keep them sharp and healthy. Make today the day you start taking control of your media consumption. Your mental health needs this. How are you going to initiate these changes in your life? What small steps will you take to reduce your screen time and reconnect with the world around you? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you think someone else could benefit from this video, don't forget to share it with them. After all, we have to ascend together.